Welcome to the chaos, welcome to the noise, and welcome to a city that proudly knows exactly what it is. We are very happy you are here, and we truly mean that. Tonight, you are joining us in our home, right here on Global USA News, where things are loud, strange, uncomfortable, and very honest. If you tuned in hoping to watch the Olympics, you should know right away that we do not have them. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. The only rings you will ever see on this network belong to reality dating shows. That is the truth, and we accept it proudly. Right, Gar? Right, Jimmy? Tomorrow marks the opening ceremonies for the Winter Olympics. The most highly trained amateur athletes from every country on Earth are currently gathering in Italy. Many of those countries do not like us very much, and that is part of the fun. Nothing gets the blood flowing quite like watching spandex-covered athletes from faraway places on a 9-hour tape delay. It really brings the world together in the slowest way possible. This year, the Olympics will include not one, not two, but 3 curling events. 3, which feels excessive by any reasonable standard. Curling is a sport that continues to confuse most of us. It looks like competitive mopping with a dress code. People have asked what the difference is between curling and cleaning the kitchen floor. The answer remains unclear. Curling is easily the least athletic event in the Olympics, but officials are clearly trying to spice it up. This year, they added a new twist. Each curling stone now carries live cats and kittens, real cats. If the cat falls off the stone, you lose instantly. The tension is unbearable. In other news, President Trump recently sat down for an interview that will air in full during the Super Bowl pregame show. Judging by early clips, he decided to go all in. This interview was not a light snack. It was a full bacon double dementia burger with extra cheese. Even by his standards, it was wild. Last night, we mentioned that 700 ICE agents are being withdrawn from Minneapolis, which is genuinely good news. However, new tour dates were quickly announced, and they may be heading to a city near you. When asked where they are going next, officials said they are looking at 5 cities very strongly, but only if they are invited. They want an invitation. That sounds less like law enforcement and more like a vampire movie. You have to invite the monsters in. Following the tragic shooting of Renee Good, questions were raised about mistakes made by ICE. When asked about those mistakes, Trump said he was unhappy with both incidents. He explained that neither person was an angel, and then added that now they literally are angels. That comment landed badly, to put it mildly. First of all, you do not know these people. You do not get to judge their lives after they are dead. Keep those thoughts to yourself. Second, if we are identifying angels, it is worth remembering that Jeffrey Epstein was once described as a close friend of Trump. Maybe angels should be left out of this discussion entirely. When pressed further, Trump said the incidents should not have happened and that they were very sad. He emphasized that the people who feel the worst about it are the agents involved. Many people would assume that the families of the victims might feel worse, but assumptions are dangerous when logic is missing. This situation was compared to a criminal saying nobody feels worse than him after being caught. Trump framed the situation as a failure to communicate, stressing that 2 deaths out of tens of thousands was being unfairly highlighted. He complained about bad publicity, calling that the real tragedy. He pointed out that nobody talks about the many people who were not killed. Throughout the interview, Trump said so many confusing and embarrassing things that it felt like he might sue himself for billions of dollars. The silver lining, according to some, is that there are only a few years left in this term. When asked if there was any scenario where he might still be president after that, Trump said it would be interesting and suggested that agreeing with critics would make life less exciting. Many Americans disagree. Many Americans are exhausted. They would happily trade excitement for stability. They would like to live in a country that does not feel like a non-stop action movie where the bus never slows down. Later in the interview, Trump offered a surprising opinion on the news that Bill and Hillary Clinton agreed to testify before a congressional committee regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Trump said it bothered him that Bill Clinton was being targeted. He said he liked Bill Clinton. When asked why, Trump said Clinton treated him well and understood him. He mentioned shared food preferences and personal chemistry. He also referred to Hillary Clinton as smart and capable, which raised eyebrows. Observers noted that Trump appeared confused about who he was supposed to dislike. It became clear that Trump's comments were strategic. By expressing sympathy for Clinton, he created distance between himself and the investigation. Clinton agreeing to testify under oath puts pressure on Trump to do the same, something he clearly wants to avoid. Despite answering many questions publicly, Trump has not answered them under oath. That distinction matters. Reporters noted the obvious double standard. If the Clintons must testify, why not Trump, who appears frequently in related documents? When asked, House leaders dodged questions, emphasizing that Trump speaks to the press daily. Not under oath, reporters pointed out. That difference was ignored. Observers joked that certain politicians seemed to be getting their daily exercise by running away from reporters. Trump later appeared at the National Prayer Breakfast, where he spoke for an extended period in front of an audience of religious leaders. He joked, rambled, and praised himself. Despite lacking familiarity with religious practices, he focused on popular themes like Christmas, claiming credit for saving it. He spoke as though holidays and traditions depend entirely on him. The highlight came when he attempted to introduce the president of another country without saying his name, carefully avoiding pronunciation altogether. The audience watched as he referred to him simply as president. Applause followed, largely out of relief. That same day, the White House launched a new Trump-branded prescription drug website. Trump claimed it would lower drug prices by hundreds or even thousands of %. The math was unclear. Numbers flew in every direction. Percentages stacked on percentages. The claims grew larger with each sentence. Observers struggled to understand how prices could drop more than 100% without becoming negative. Logic was not invited to the event. Trump also confirmed he would not attend the Super Bowl. Instead, he planned to criticize it from home. This year's game features the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. The halftime show will be headlined by Bad Bunny, which upset certain nostalgic fans who longed for simpler performances from decades past. Old footage of past halftime shows showed how much things have changed and how much they have improved. The quarterbacks this year are young, especially Drake May, who looks like he might need parental permission to stay up late. Jokes followed about tablets, cartoons, and youth. As part of a long-running Super Bowl tradition, a correspondent conducted awkward interviews with players, asking strange questions and creating viral moments. Tequila appeared unexpectedly, flags were opened, snacks were offered. Confusion ruled the day. Players answered questions about music, culture, and imaginary scenarios. One was asked whether a famous fictional character was more human or machine. Another was asked to insult a famous actor and refused, choosing kindness instead. Dance lessons were requested. Awkward laughter filled the air. Fans chanted slogans that made little sense but felt right in the moment. The segment ended with chants echoing through the crowd, nicknames forming instantly, and social media reacting in real time. It was messy, loud, and strangely perfect. That's the Super Bowl experience. That's America on display. And that's exactly why people keep watching. The chants grew louder, spreading from the crowd to phones to social media to screens across the country. What started as a joke quickly became a slogan. Fans repeated it again and again, louder each time, until it stopped sounding silly and started sounding official. This is how modern traditions are born. No planning, no approval, just noise and repetition until everyone agrees it is real. People online immediately picked sides. Some loved it, some hated it. Some pretended not to understand it while secretly enjoying it. That is how these moments work. They are not designed to make sense. They are designed to make people talk, and they succeeded. As the excitement built toward the Super Bowl, the country remained divided, tired, overstimulated, and constantly reacting. Every headline felt bigger than the last. Every statement became a debate. Every joke carried weight. Comedy and politics blurred together so completely that it became difficult to tell where one ended and the other began. Back in Washington, the focus remained on testimony, investigations, and accountability. Questions about Epstein continued to follow powerful figures like a shadow. The public watched closely, noticing who was willing to speak under oath and who avoided it. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Silence, delay, and distraction became strategies, while humor and outrage battled for attention. At the same time, religious imagery continued to be used as a political tool. Speeches referenced faith without substance. Long monologues replaced reflection. Applause filled the gaps where meaning should have been. For many viewers, it felt hollow. For others, it felt familiar. The performance mattered more than the message. The newly launched drug website remained a talking point, not because of its effectiveness, but because of its promises. Percentages were repeated endlessly. Claims were exaggerated until they lost all connection to reality. Supporters nodded along. Critics shook their heads. Experts begged for calculators. The numbers did not add up, but the confidence never wavered. Meanwhile, the Super Bowl machine rolled forward without pause. Commercials were teased, performances were hyped, arguments about music, culture, and representation filled comment sections. Some viewers longed for the past, others welcomed the present. Most people just wanted 3 hours of distraction and snacks. The halftime show debate highlighted a deeper tension. Change scares people, nostalgia comforts them, but time only moves in one direction. What once felt familiar now feels outdated. What feels uncomfortable now will someday feel normal. This cycle repeats endlessly, whether people like it or not. On the field, players prepared for the biggest game of their lives. Cameras followed every move, every smile, every joke, every awkward interaction became content. A simple answer could turn into a headline. A harmless comment could spark controversy. Even silence could be interpreted as a statement. The interviews continued, growing stranger by the minute. Questions wandered from football to pop culture to philosophy. Players did their best to stay polite, amused, and focused. Some laughed, some dodged, some leaned into the absurdity. In those moments, the human side of the spectacle became visible. Fans watching at home recognized the chaos because it felt familiar. This was not just entertainment, it was a reflection. Confusing, loud, funny, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. It mirrored the country itself, a place where serious issues and silly moments exist side by side, constantly colliding. As the night wrapped up, the energy did not fade, it simply shifted. Conversations continued online, clips were shared, opinions hardened, jokes evolved. The news cycle prepared to reset and repeat. Tomorrow would bring new outrage, new laughs, and new confusion. And yet, through it all, people kept watching. Not because everything made sense, but because it did not. Because unpredictability has become the norm. Because silence feels stranger than noise now. That is where we are. That is what this moment looks like. A mix of tragedy, comedy, spectacle, and exhaustion. A country arguing with itself in real time, broadcast live, clipped endlessly, and debated without rest. From politics to sports, from prayer breakfasts to halftime shows, from investigations to viral chants, everything blends together into one continuous performance. There is no pause button, there is no intermission. And so we end where we began, right here, together, watching it all unfold, trying to laugh when we can, trying to care when it matters, trying to make sense of the mess without losing ourselves in it. This is the story of Mao. This is the noise of the moment. And this is Global USA News, bringing you the full picture, whether it is clean or chaotic, comforting or uncomfortable. We'll be right back.